It's back, folks. That's right. L'Esprit de Pavie. Well, Esprit de Pavie. I think they once called it L'Esprit de Pavie, but Esprit de Pavie is back. And you know, we sold 2010, we sold 2015, and now we have the 2019. And Chateau Pavie, as you well know, is one of the top wines in Bordeaux. In fact, it's probably received more 100-point scores over the last couple decades than in any other property in Bordeaux. And owner Gerard Paris is a meticulous guy when it comes to making some of the greatest wines in the world, for that matter. Because you have, you know, not only you have Chateau Pavie, you have Bellevue Mondat, you have Pavie de Cesse, Montbosquet, amongst others. And essentially, when Gerard bought Chateau Pavie in 1998, which was an amazing feat, a lot of people wanted it, and he ended up getting it. And to much of the chagrin of a lot of the Bordelais and Saint-Emilion, they were a little perturbed that some grocery mogul was able to buy such a grand property. But that being said, what he has done at Chateau Pavie, because before he owned Pavie, Pavie was just like an okay wine. I mean, it had its great terroir, everything about it was fantastic, but the problem is, unless you really know how to utilize the terroir at Chateau Pavie, you know, or anywhere for that matter, you're just going to make okay wine. But he really studied the terroir. He really studied the exposition of the Côte de Pavie and Chateau Pavie, for that matter. And what he has done is just amazing. I mean, if you go to Saint-Emilion, he now owns, you know, he has the Hôtellerie de Pavie, which is essentially a 5-star hotel with a 3-star restaurant. And he owns Le Vent de Cour, another famous restaurant in Saint-Emilion. I heard he was just building a new pizza place. I mean, they're like taking over the village, but they're doing it in a very classy way, him and his wife, Chantal. He's a good friend of mine, actually. Him and I are cyclists, and when in 2009, I brought my bike to Saint-Emilion, and him and I rode together. And it was fun. We had his son-in-law, Eric, the Costa, who's actually, Eric is kind of managing the properties now. But he was our little sidecar, and he was taking pictures, and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, that being said, what Gerard does, he does with perfection. And so when he came out in 2010 with L'Esprit Pavie, or Esprit de Pavie, you know, it was something that, you know, I had to try, I had to taste. I had to figure out what was going on here. And when he was upgraded to Grand Cru Classe A, so basically like a first growth in Saint-Emilion, he did a whole restructuring of the chateau. And I remember going to his place, and he was showing me the models of how he's going to remodel and build this, you know, grand tasting room and blah, 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 blah. And so, and he did. I mean, the guy he is always moving forward with stuff. But when he made that change, he replanted a lot of Chateau Pavie. And what he did is he put more Cabernet Franc in. Normally, Pavie back when he bought it was usually about a 80 to 20 Franc, Merlot Franc. And when he started to replant, what he really wanted to do is he wanted to increase the Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon to almost a 50-50 blend for Chateau Pavie. Well, those vines needed to grow, and so they were too young for Gerard to put into Pavie or his second wine, Les Aromes de Pavie. So what he did is he created Esprit. And since then, Esprit has really taken on its own identity. Gerard owns property not only in Castillon, or not only in Saint-Emilion, but he also owns property in Castillon. And Castillon is essentially the same terroir as Pavie. It's essentially that limestone coat just goes right through Saint-Emilion and goes into Castillon. And so he has a vineyard there called Saint Colombe. And so, it's an area in Castillon. So there, he will take some of the fruit from that area, and then he will also use all the younger vines at Chateau Pavie, both the Cabernet Franc and the Cabernet Sauvignon, to blend with the Merlot that's coming from Castillon. And so that's why this is not necessarily a location. Per se, it's basically just a straight Bordeaux appellation, but because he's taken fruit from both Castillon and the Saint-Emilion area. But this is not any fruit. I mean, this is Pavie fruit that's coming into this blend, which is, by the way, for this vintage for 2019, it's a blend of 65% Merlot, 25% Cabernet Franc. Is that right? 25%, 65. I'm trying to get my math here right, and the rest Cabernet Sauvignon. And so it's done in Pavie barrels, okay? So he takes, because Pavie is 100% new oak. I think he's backed it down a little bit, maybe 80% right now. But he's taken the barrels from Chateau Pavie to age this for 15 months. It's all HVE certified. It's all hand-picked, hand-harvested. He does everything just like he does in whether it be Montbusquet, whether it's Bellevue Mandat, whether it's his other properties, Clos Lunel, which actually now is getting great scores and a lot of accolades. By the way, we have the 2022 Clos Lunel that will be coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. It's got a big score and the price is right. But we're just talking right now about Esprit. Anything Gerard does, he does with such perfection. Kyle and I, we did we had this thing called Wine Geeks in Paradise back in the late, 2009, and we did the 2009 vintage with Gerard, where we, did the whole tour and basically went to the vineyards and did a whole interview with him. He's just so meticulous about what he does. And so when you have a guy like that with vineyards like he has, and puts it into a wine that we can sell for under $25, it's just crazy. Because it's like baby Pavie, And I'm going to try some right now because I love Pavie. Pavie got so much heat back in the early 2000s because there's this is this overripe stuff. He's over extracting. The wines will never age. Yeah, right. They age great. I've had 98 Pavie recently. I had 2000 Pavie when I was in Bordeaux last year. These wines are bulletproof and they are awesome. So yeah, sorry, Jancis and all the British people that said these wines will never age. They do. They age great. Blackberry liqueur, quiche. I mean, it's got all that jamminess, but texture. Silky tannins. It's limestone, so you get minerality. You get, the thing about limestone gives freshness into the wine. It's not just the minerality that limestone gives, but limestone gives you that freshness because limestone's like a sponge, and so it keeps the water in vintages like 19 when it was warm, not like 22, but it was warm. It was just an optimal vintage in the right bank. And you have this guy who is just a perfectionist, and Laurent Lusseau, his right-hand man, along with Michel Rolland. I mean, they just crafted such an absolute gorgeous ready to drink wine right now. And it's funny, this is 19. So this wine's, now 6 years old. And just singing is such a good place. I mean, critics loved it. It's critically acclaimed, Dunnick, Suckling, $24.98. Great price for absolute pedigree. Saint-Emilion royalty, first growth royalty, because again, Pavie is a first growth. Grand Cru Class AA in Saint-Emilion. So go for it, guys. Yeah, you won't be disappointed.